This is a Scipio rant. Anything you hear, anything you see, is completely uncensored and meant for adults, people. No audio, video, but still frames of any of the shows mentioned in the topic of this rant are not meant for the express written consent of making money and belong to everyone that has a copyright as to it may be mentioned. Plus, I would love your opinions, comment, rate, subscribe. Definitely subscribe if you want me to sing when a wrap up like an idiot. And have an open mind. Will you please? Thank you. Hello, guys. I know this is a rare thing. I am not in my room. I am actually in my mother's computer room for this rant. And yes, I am sitting in my wheelchair for the first time doing a video. I know you can't. There we go. And why would I do a video in my wheelchair for the first time? Well, it's because of the topic of this video rant. It's about disability. No, 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 I'm not going to talk about myself in reference to disability. Instead, I'm going to talk about disability on television. A funny thing happened 2 weeks ago. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, of course, a series that I do videos on weekly, expressed the topic of disability in one of its latest episodes, Late to the Finish. But actually did it in a very subtle and very unexpected way. It really, really touched me in a positive way. Why? Because disability was actually expressed with a kind of care, tongue-in-cheekness, uniqueness that is not seen in any other show currently going. Disability on TV has always been a touchy subject from the beginnings of the media way back in the 60s. But especially in the modern day of the 21st century, disability on TV is almost a taboo subject, usually limited to tongue-in-cheek jokes like Timmy from South Park or even Jimmy from South Park, and is usually reflected in movies as a butt of a joke, or a reason to feel pity or disgrace, or to try to tell some kind of emotional message. Not since Mikey, that's Carlos's cousin from the Magic School Bus, has disability been expressed in a TV show with care, understanding, and, in a weird way, fun, 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 and almost ignoring the fact that the character is disabled even at all. Usually, when disability is expressed in TV, it is expressed very carefully. Even a problem that even Friendship with Magic ran into with the introduction of Dizzy Doo, also commonly known by the fandom as Derpy Hooves, a character that is cross-eyed and has trouble with sense of direction as well as eyesight. When the character was originally introduced in the series, it was supposed to have a speaking line but due to controversy, the character was removed until the line was altered. The fandom took it upon themselves to make the character more properly represented within views of fanfics like 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 the fan fiction's Hocus Pocus, which actually focuses on her daughter, Dinky, but most importantly, the famous fan fiction Shipping and Handling, the first fan fiction I ever decided to read on fanfiction.net by Pegasus Light Brigade. If you haven't checked out those two fan fictions, do yourself a favor and check them out. They're really good reads. But back on the subject at hand. Disability in the media is often looked at as a topic of mass discussion towards political things, but on TV it's usually a source of one big goofy laugh. Everybody knows the movie The Ringer that Johnny Knoxville did about a perfectly able person faking his way into the Special Olympics. Now, granted, I have not seen the movie, but just the mere premise of the movie offended me and a lot of pro-disability groups. But the show most notorious for making disability a top line joke just so happens to be the show South Park due to its characters of Jimmy and Timmy. In fact, an entire episode so linked around people with disabilities known as Camp Antarctica further extends the joke, and no, having Timmy be friends with the main group of South Parkians that we know is no way to apologize for the borderline offensive and comic matter that disability is taken in the world of South Park, whether it be mental or physical. Expressing disability is almost an impossible task for writers, seeing that we're so politically correct and touchy about the subject at hand. But the writer for the episode Flight to the Finish, Ed Valentine, actually took it upon himself not only to bring up Scootaloo's disability, the fact that she can't fly, and write it carefully and with extreme care and understanding about the world around them in terms of the plot, but also to express it from the disabled character's point of view, seeing that Scootaloo's confidence was utterly wrecked in the episode, and it literally changed the way that she approached the problem. Although it was mainly done by the bullying and teasing of Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoons, the fact that the fans' main concern about Scootaloo being disabled was brought up in this way subtly is what makes the entire episode a brilliant thing to behold. Subtlety and disability is almost impossible to pull off without openly bringing it up. Now, granted, this isn't the first TV show or movie to get it right. Remember the 1995 Fox primetime TV show The Mantis about a disabled superhero with a souped up van and a suit? Of course you don't. Why? Because the show only lasted about a good 10 episodes before being pulled. Disabled characters are usually not part of the main cast of most things, and in anime and video games, disability ability is even further not brought up. I mean, except for Lester in GTA 5, and he's not full on disabled. But the fact that he is in a wheelchair and is expressed as a major character in a form of media shows that there is a bit of understanding and a step forward on the subject. But largely, disability is still looked at as a tongue-in-cheek subject. Something definitely needs to change here. How exactly would you do this? Well, you would get more writers like Ed Valentine. Writers that understand the nature of subtlety of disabled people. And also, to that effect, also, as for even disabled people's viewpoints and thoughts on how to properly write them. Live with them, perhaps, and be really careful on how it's brought up or when it's brought up in the plot. Even in my own personal headcanon, Digimon Extreme Monsters, introducing a character like Carlos, a character with cerebral palsy like myself, was even a very difficult and very touchy thing, even for an action show. And, and this is even further expressed with the worry because most of the popular shows don't even bring up the subject, similar to things like cancer or such. It's only when It's only in documentaries and moments where disability is brought up that it's brought up in the form of media. I'm using this Scipio rant to say simply this. Thanks to Flight to the Finish, things need to change. Disability in TV definitely, let alone the rest of the media needs to be expressed with care and understand the time of using disability as a joke has ended. It is the 21st century. Let's all wake up and make disabled characters not something to throw away as something temporary or something brought up every now and again. Let's make it part of the discussion. Disabled people should not, by any circumstances, be ignored by any means, let alone demeaned, similar to gay people. If we in the media have become more comfortable with gays and lesbians in the media, maybe perhaps it is about time for us, the disabled people, to finally get our due. We don't need Jimmy and Timmys out there in the world. We need more Scootaloos and more people to write more Scootaloos. And I hope through seeing me as a disabled person for the first time brings it out. I know I've been doing this channel for 2 years, and I have mentioned the fact that I am a disabled person. Now, you know the truth. It is no lie. Being a disabled person, being bullied throughout my entire school life, teased literally having the Ku Klux Klan at my backyard at one time in my youth because I lived in Kentucky, and all the devastation that being a disabled person has brought. It is refreshing to finally see on TV a disabled character that I can appreciate is well written and respected and accepted in a show's universe. I give Hasbro, DHX Media, and even the writers and crew of Friendship is Magic extreme amount of respect for this. And hopefully, through this video and through the actions of others, maybe the viewpoint on disability in TV can change for the better. Because God knows, after 20 years, after after the acceptance of the National Disabilities Act signed by Ronald Reagan in 1984, which just so happens to be my birth year, things need to change for the better. And the disability law also needs to be updated for the 21st century. But if we can start the discussion on TV and on sites like this one, maybe we can change the culture. If it worked for gays towards tolerance, it can work for us. Find peace in your own nirvana. See you next time.